What has happened is that from last year's work to this year's work, we have seen a lot of improvement. For example, the number of people who are accessing higher nutritive value foods has increased. Malnutrition has gone down. Mortality rate due to malnutrition has also gone down by 90%, from 20% to 2%. And mortality due to HIV has also gone down by 80%, from 10 people per hour to 2 people per hour. But at the same time, if you follow the good agreements between Europe and Africa, things work very well. A good example, we have the DREAM program, where we are providing the ARVs and the testing to pregnant women who have been tested and they are HIV positive. Once they have been given ARVs, what has happened is that the transmission of HIV to the baby has dropped from 35% to 2%. No, over the period, because last year it was one way of reporting on what DREAM program can do, and then this year we evaluated that program, which has been running for 2 to 3 years, and now what I'm giving you is what has happened after the evaluation. So you can see a lot of things are changing. The implication there is that the number of orphans reduces. The women can look after their children, including the whole household, because the help goes to the household. On top of that, if a household has been given food resources, their nutritional status improves, they work better in their development agenda, and this is the more reason why in our analysis we have noted that if you address the problem of nutrition, you contribute 3% to GDP. And if you address the problem of HIV, you contribute 1% to GDP. So if indeed Africa has to develop, the human capital has to be key, but it has to be holistic approach and not a one-off type of investment. Because if you concentrate on infrastructure alone, forget the human being, the infrastructure will have nobody to use it. If you concentrate on business alone without looking at the people, there will be nobody to buy that business. So you need to look at infrastructure, business, agriculture, nutrition, the addressing problems of HIV and AIDS, and indeed the whole question of security, governance, tolerance, zero tolerance on corruption. You need all that, and there must be very strong political will in order for governments to move. So what we need here is that we should build very strong partnership between Africa, countries in general, Africa as a whole, but countries within Africa, with member states, with European country, Sicily and Italy, and at the bottom line, we should have investments at all levels. And this will move both Europe, Sicily, Italy, and Africa. The telemedicine project for us is very critical, because at the moment we do not have any communication network in rural areas. So using telemedicine, a patient or somebody who has a problem can be at a certain point. Once you communicate that I have this problem using telemedicine, immediately as a doctor, I'll get the information. And depending on what the patient has said, I'll be able to diagnose and say, can you do 1, 2, 3 to relieve the pain? Meanwhile, move to the hospital or move to point Y for help. You can also use the same telemedicine for e-learning, because if a medical doctor has found a problem and that doctor doesn't know how to deal with it, he or she can communicate to the specialist who is on another point. The specialist will provide the second opinion and the patient can be treated. So for Malawi, telemedicine is very, very critical. Yes, you use the SMS on the mobile phones. The majority of Malawians have SMS. The cell phone has reached the most remote areas. And all we need to do, if indeed we have to go nationwide, we need just to supply the handsets to our extension workers, as well as people at community level, like the chief, the parents, and all that. And then they can just be communicating. So information should be retained. So what we need is a data center where information is going to be managed. So from that center, when you enter any information on specific conditions, it should be able to give you information on what is happening. I'll give you an example of the nutrition data. We are doing that in 3 districts. All you do is you examine the child, weigh the child, you enter the data name, height, ID number and everything, village and everything. Immediately you send the SMS, it gives you back that the child is malnourished or is stunted or is growing very well. And then when you get the message the child is malnourished, then you can ask, what should I do? Then you are advised, give the child community therapeutic care, or give the child supplementary feeding because it has mild malnutrition. So when you do that, you find that the situation improves and things get better. The levels of malnutrition go down. So it's a very innovative way of providing medical services, nutrition services, and other important services to the community.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.